Hey everybody, Grillfather Johnny Al here, and today is another episode in the series of what I call fireside chats. Let's meet over by the fire pot and we'll see what's cooking.
What advice would you give to those just starting out in the world of smoking meat?
Yeah, I wish I had some advice when I started out smoking meat 20 years ago. I didn't have YouTube available back then, and really I went through the school of hard knocks and basically kind of taught myself just by reading and researching. So definitely today it's a lot easier, and I think there's more and more people with more experience that can help new people out as they're beginning on this journey. So I can think of a few things that I can give advice to people who are just starting out. And the first thing that I would say is don't try to climb Mount Everest if you haven't conquered Pikes Peak. What I'm referring to there is I would not recommend doing a brisket, smoking a brisket the very first time that you do any kind of smoking or barbecuing. And try instead to do something like a tri-tip or a picanha or even pulled pork. Basically, you don't, and the reason I say to do those is those are easier cooks to do. They're not as long, and they're more forgiving than doing a brisket. So doing those types of cooks will help you build some confidence. You don't want to go through everything that's involved with doing a brisket, and then after all those hours, only to not be happy with it and say that you spent all day doing this and it didn't turn out, and you get discouraged and you want to give up on barbecuing, and you don't want that to happen. You definitely don't want to get discouraged. So instead, get some small wins under your belt, build some confidence and momentum, and then down the road a little bit, then tackle that brisket. Again, that's just my opinion, that I would not start out by trying to tackle a brisket on day one of smoking meat. The other thing that I can think of is read and research and watch videos like you're doing right now. And again, like I alluded to earlier, I only really had reading and research to rely on, and didn't have the benefit of YouTube videos that I can just easily hit the play button on. So definitely take advantage of what's out there. There's so much on the internet now, and in YouTube videos as well. Check out my videos. I hope you will find uh, them to be helpful. That's the whole purpose that I do these videos, is to help others and to have fun in the process along the way. And those are my only two goals, is to help you, the viewer, and to have fun doing it. I would also say join some social media barbecue groups. There's a lot of them on Facebook, but I do have to caution you. Be mindful that there are a lot of unkind people in those audiences, and some call them trolls. You can call them whatever you want. I think trolls is probably a good name for people that, no matter how perfect it looks or how perfect it turns out, there is always going to be someone that will have a negative comment to say. It's unfortunate, but that's such as life in today's world. So just a word of caution on that. That these groups are really designed to be helpful for people who are just starting out and are beginners, and they're not meant to be platforms for people to one up each other, or just have negative and unkind things to say. They're supposed to be encouraging and helpful and not tearing people down. So I just wanted to give you a word of caution on that, that if you go onto these social media groups for barbecue and you join and you post stuff, here's what I cooked, and show a picture of it, you're going to find that there are going to be people out there that are not going to be so nice. So I just wanted to give you a little heads up on that. And the next piece of advice I would say is ask questions. Find someone who is maybe local or have a friend that's in barbecue and ask questions. You're never going to know if you don't ask. So don't be afraid to ask. I'm here to help. You can always reach out to me. I will do my best to help you out and answer your questions. So more than willing to get back with you if you have any kind of questions. And then use a cook log. And I've done a whole video on a cook log. And I really, really, really highly recommend it for someone who's starting out. And I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I still use a cook log. And it basically is a 3-ring binder where I keep sheets for all my cook. It's all organized, and all the things that I cook, all organized by types of meat. And really, it's kind of a game plan for for the type of meat that you're cooking for the day. It helps you manage time. It helps you monitor things, keep you on track, keep you focused so you don't forget. Well, when was the last time I spritzed? Well, when was the last time I did this? Is it time to do that? Really helps you stay on point and focused. And then the other benefit is more of a posterity benefit in that when you're done with that cook, you slide it into the little plastic sheet protector. And then when you go to cook, let's say you're doing pulled pork. Maybe you're not going to do pulled pork for another 6 months or a year, or whenever it is you get around to doing pulled pork again. Instead of trying to remember what did I do, what was everything that I did that last time, all you have to do is go to your cook log, pull out that sheet, and your memory is refreshed in a matter of a few seconds. And you can see if you take notes of what went well, what didn't go well, then you can make those changes and improvements the next time around. I'd also say invest in a good smoker, whether it's an offset or a pellet or whatever. I did a whole video on the differences between between the two types of smokers. So make sure you're happy with your smoker. You're going to be spending some money to buy one. So do some research, do some homework ahead of time. And then don't get discouraged. There things are not always going to turn out perfectly every time. Doesn't matter how long you've been doing barbecuing. Doesn't matter how much experience you have. Things are not always going to turn out perfectly into your life. It's a lot of trial and error, especially starting out, and there's definitely a learning curve to deal with. So don't get discouraged. Again, kind of going back to that first point, get some wins under your belt, get some easier types of meat to smoke that are less forgiving, or I'm sorry, that are more forgiving when it comes to where you may have made a mistake, and then work your way up to harder types of cooks like the brisket. And then finally, I think I would say practice your craft often. And what you want to do is get into a rhythm or a routine, say weekly, for example. And some people practice law, some people practice medicine. We practice barbecue. And there's an old saying that I grew up with, that practice makes perfect. Well, that's not true. Just like many sayings that we've grown up with in life, we come to find out that ultimately those sayings aren't true. And that one is not true either. You can practice all you want, but if you're not practicing the right things or the right way, it's not going to turn out perfectly. So the correct way to say that phrase is perfect practice makes perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Hey, friends, thanks for stopping by my channel today. I really appreciate you taking your time to check out my video. Hope you found it helpful. Would you do me the kind favor of hitting the like and subscribe buttons, and also take a moment to share with your family and friends. Until next time, this is Grill Father Johnny L, heading off into the sunset.